Hi, thanks for tuning in here today. Today we're going to be doing a fun little painting. I hope you could follow along with me. Tell you what, let me have them run the colors across the screen that you will need to paint along with me. While they're doing that, let me tell you what I got up here on my easel. I have my regular 16 by 20 inch canvas, pre-stretched, double prime, and I have it on landscape mode or horizontal mode. And all I done was add a thin layer of the liquid white, and rather than that, it's slick, it's wet, and we could get started with today's painting. So I thought today, or you know what, I'll keep it a surprise for you guys. We'll have a pile of blue. We'll start off with our palette knife. Blue and a little bit, another pile with a little bit of crimson. So one pile just pure phthalo blue. Okay. We'll pile this paint up. Okay, just wipe off my knife. You know what? To the blue, we'll add a little bit of white. You might say there's white already on the canvas with the liquid white. Yeah, but it doesn't hurt. Okay, so pile that up, and we'll get started with the painting right away. I don't know why. Got stuck in my words for a sec there. We'll go into a 2-inch brush and just tap some paint. Tap, tap, tap. And let's go right here. Boom. Just crisscross. Going back and forth. There. It was so simple. Load up your brush each and every time that's needed. Don't be stubborn with your paint. We'll come up here and what the heck, we'll do crisscross as well. There's gonna be some water down beneath. Now, or I'm gonna speak while doing this. I remember when watching Bob Ross do it, he would say never to do crisscross here. It seems to work perfectly fine. I don't really mind. It's up to you guys. But I like to do it like that just to get a solid paint color right on and just blend it. Boom. Now we'll go into our lavender color. Nice strong lavender color. And we'll just hit the tops. Just hitting the top of our painting with lavender. Load up your brush and have at it. Okay. Before I run out and make it look horrible, let's go ahead. Let's knock some down here at the bottom. There. I just thought of an idea and I said, let's start filming. So hopefully this is a good idea, hopefully. There we are. We'll blend them all together in a sec. Right now the main thing is laying in that foundation. Now we'll beat a little bit our brush and we'll go back to our blue color. And all I want to do is go right in between, just add some more pigment. There, just so where the two meet, they can blend. Okay, we'll beat the brush a bit and just going crisscross and just kind of blending it out. Now, I'm going to a little bit of titanium white paint. I'm using the brush I used to apply my liquid white, so it's a little thinned down. I want a nice little bright center point. So select your spot and just have at it. With the 2-inch brush, you can make it disappear. You can blend it to the level you want to. So I blended it to there, and we'll go ahead and we'll do another layer right here. Boom. You can also use your finger, kind of like finger painting. There. But work your way out. There we are. And you want to, when blending, you want to work your way in. There we are. Just like that. You have yourself a nice little sky. Let's go ahead. Just fill in a little bit there. Now, let's go ahead. We're going to do something interesting. Hopefully you guys find it interesting. I'm going to clear up spot right here. Okay. We'll grab a little bit of brown. Cut a roll with your palette knife right there. We'll put it up, almost up against the canvas, so hopefully you guys could see that. And I think the end point would be somewhere around there, and it gets to there. And we'll have it go somewhere here. Simple, yet interesting. We'll go into a little bit of blue and brown, that blue color we had going on, and we'll just add in a little indication that there might be a mountain back in the distance. We don't want much detail, and we don't want to use strong colors like black, because then it's gonna pop too much and it's gonna look closer than what it is. Want to use colors similar, that way kind of just blends in. We'll just block that in there. Now with the 1-inch brush, we're gonna go ahead and grab it and pull it. Grab it and pull it. Just very, very gentle. There. There we are. Okay. Now, we can go ahead, shoot, just for the love of painting and all that. We'll go into a little bit of white, very little brown, maybe even a touch of blue. And I'm just mixing right here in the corner. Let's go ahead. Let's thin it out. Thin paint will stick on to thicker paint. So let's make our lives easier. Right here, just subtle indications. just a few indications of some highlights that we see up. We won't depict too much detail because it's too far away, but we just want a little small indication. Oh, there's some light peeking through. There. You can always go back, so don't try to rush this. There. And we can go into a little more brown, and we'll add little bit of red and a slightest touch of blue. Maybe very small touch of black. Very, very, very small. I can't stress too much about that. There. If you're going to put a small indication of some highlights, you need a small indication of shadows. You need some shadows to have your light. And if you don't, it's just going to be off. There we are. Okay. We can blend that out. Okay, so back to here, what we're trying to do is, let's go ahead and build that up. We'll grab ourselves a trusty old 1-inch brush. Beat the brush to open the bristles and a little bit of brown. Just tap it in there. And we're just gonna wiggle some paint in there. There we are. Right around there. So you're probably saying, what the hell are you doing? You lost your mind. You stop painting for a bit and you forget how to paint. No, this is just the basic shape and basic color. We're gonna go right over it, don't worry. So, just scrubbing on paint. I really want the paint to be scrubbed on. That way, for the next layer, it makes it easier because I want the paint in there. With scrubbing it in, it gets it in more the canvas in a way. So, trying to really work it. You don't want to have too much paint because if you want to add another layer, it's gonna make it hell. Okay, so we're gonna go grab a bit of titanium white into our brownish color, a little bit of cadmium yellow, just a little, and slightest touch of red. No more white. And all I want to do, I just aim to kind of highlight the edges. There. So you can kind of depict where you want it to go with the highlight. There. Okay. Now we gotta blend it. There. Very soft, very gentle. But there's gonna be a few spots where the light hits it most, especially because it's right underneath. So, little white, little bit of yellow, just a little bit. You need a little bit of red. There. And just blend it out. Okay. Now, here comes the fun and can be tricky and a little bit frustrating, but we're going to give it a shot. One thing we don't do on here is quit just because it's a bit challenging. We're going to go into a little bit of phthalo blue. Actually, that was too much phthalo blue, but who cares? Okay, we're going to grab some white. So, white, blue and white. And we're going to add in some liquid white. For me, it's just white paint with oil to thin it down. I use linseed oil, so just in case you guys want to do it, there you go. And all you want to do is layer on. You want it somewhat transparent, but you want to layer on a nice little layer of paint where it looks like water. So careful how much pressure you put as well, because the more you go back and forth blending it and all that, the more it's gonna blend with the color underneath, and that's something we don't really need. A bit more blue. Okay, we'll work our way right now in a sec, and then just pull down a little bit. A little more blue. Load up your brush and just boom. Okay, now here's a fun little trick and something I love to do, me personally. Cut a roll of titanium white on your palette knife. You know what? We'll pollute it. You don't want pure white. Okay, very, very light blue. And all you want to do is on the edge, just go back and forth, just to make it seem like the foam's right there. There. There we are. You can put a little bit of foamy things just going on. Now, if you want to make it look more like water, we're going to need to put those foamy patterns. But we'll get back to that in this. Well, let me finish up this paint. Just follow where you want it to go. Don't have some coming over here and some going the other way. And you want to apply tons of pressure. That way the paint goes on. There we are. Okay. We'll grab a little more white. Less polluted than the first time, but still want a little bit of blue. You never want to use your best whites at first or your darkest colors first. So anything like your darkest brown, your darkest black, you never want to do that right in the get-go, right in starting. You always want to tone it down. That way later on, if you say, I want to add another layer like this, and I want to how you call it? I'm trying to find the word. make it lighter, like if light's hitting it, then because you had layers, if I would have used pure white here, I would have been screwed right now. And I'm adding a little bit of blue to my white, intentionally and unintentionally, in order to keep adding layers. So just got an old fan brush and just pull it down. And you could pull down some of the color that's on top, but just pull it down. Really get that paint in there. Okay. Now, let's go ahead. We'll add in a little bit of foamy areas. And just go crazy. Just kind of tap it in there. Now, with our 2-inch brush, we can kind of tap and pull just to kind of blend out that base. There. Okay. Now, let's go ahead. We'll go with our good old 1-inch brush, and we'll go into a little bit of blue, a little bit of yellow, just to give us a nice green color. We'll tone it down with a little bit of brown in there. That way it's not too saturated. And a little bit of black. That's too dark, especially for where I'm trying to place it. So just like so. I like this. And this is going to be the underneath color. So that should tell you something, because I could have used pure black, but I didn't, because then how we went back to all the things, you don't want to use your darkest and your lightest first. Let's raise this up a little bit. And we'll just scrub on that paint. All we care about is that outside edge, really. And we'll, what the heck, we'll pull some color in there. Okay. We'll come back with some of that blue on the brush. It really doesn't matter. Go back and forth. Now, with our 1-inch, we'll go into cadmium yellow. And I'll turn green since all that blue color. And just sort of tap it. Now, I want to create layers. So we're working from the closest one to the farthest one. There. Right here lives another layer. Doop, 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 doop. Just tap it. It lives in your brush. And we can pull a little bit of that color to our reflections. There. Don't want to overdo it, but we just want that small little indication. Okay, palette knife. A little bit of light and brown. Just a little bit. So brown and a little bit of white, since it's far away. There we are. Okay, we'll add a little bit of white. Shoot, we can add a small touch of yellow. Maybe a small touch of red in there as well. And just graze it. Very, very gentle. There we are. Now, we'll go into a little bit of titanium white, pull it out. Kind of get it a little bit polluted, just a little bit. And just a few little water lines live out here. Okay, now we'll go into a little bit of brown with my filbert brush. And let's get crazy. Shoom. There we are. Maybe another one is right here. Okay. There. Doesn't really matter, just to me the most important thing is just placing them in there. So just, how I said, it doesn't really matter how you do it. You can be using a 1-inch. You can use if you can find out how to use a roller, by all means. I just haven't found out how to do that one yet. There we are. One right here, maybe. And maybe one right here. Okay, we'll go into our lighter brown, a little more white. And we'll give them a few little highlights. Don't stress about it being perfect. As long as you like it, and we're in business. Shoot, I think I'm gonna add a little touch of liquid white, just smallest touch, just to thin out that paint. There we are. There. Shoot. I hope you guys could hear the rain. It sounds very nice in here, just hearing the little sprinkles. Doop, 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 doop. We'll go into our green color, a little bit of black, a little more black. And we'll just go ahead and let's have fun. Let's just add some foliage. See, when I first started out doing these videos, I remember I would paint trees, but I didn't like putting foliage. Now I paint trees and foliage or the leaves, however you want to think about it, just feels right. It feels like they're clothes. So each time, sometimes unless the painting kind of talks to me, I don't mean it literally, Hopefully you guys picked up on that. But sometimes paintings will talk to you, and you'll get the feel, oh, this one needs to be a little more dramatic. This one I'm not gonna put leaves. Or maybe this one instead of the sunset, I'm gonna make it all moody and dark. So to me, it also depends on the painting. Um, just kind of get a feel for it. Don't just go in at random. It's nice to mix the two, going in at random, but while also having a small idea of what you're trying to accomplish. That's usually what the spot I try to be in. Um, Not knowing what I'm gonna do, but knowing a little bit. Like, okay, maybe I want some big trees. Maybe I want a waterfall. Just barely the general mist, but you have to be able to keep it going right here. Okay, we're going to a little bit of cadmium yellow, a little bit of liquid white, and let's go ahead, let's highlight these trees. Think about where the light would hit it. Boom. There. Load it up each time you feel like you're struggling to put paint on. Another reason why I don't really worry about the trees is because I know I'm gonna cover them up. If you see me worrying about the trees, then they're probably gonna be leafless. But if I know I'm gonna cover them up, why stress and put so much time in something you're just gonna cover up? So that's kind of the idea I carry around with me. If I know I want to cover it up, then I don't really put much detail into it. But if I don't know and later on I do it, oh, that's that's a pain in the butt, and also kind of hurts you sometimes. You're like, oh, I worked so hard on it now just to cover it up. And this is why I go back to having a little bit of an idea isn't too bad. I know most of you, um, well, I don't want to say I know, but I would like to assume a lot of you um, want to do it without knowing what and just doing it on the go. Just try it out one time. Just doing a little sketch maybe, or how you call it, or just making a note to yourself, main things you want in it. There, a few little water lines on the edge. There. Now, let's go ahead. Let's have some fun. We're going to black. Now, since I'm using black, it's probably going to be close up. I suggest you use black when in a landscape when things are getting close, but even then, I have green in it, so it's not pure black. There. First, I'll tap the main brush, but then I'll flip the handle. How you will see Bob Ross do it, just to get that nice pattern. There, just loading up my brush. And just fill it in. There we are. Load up your brush one direction and just boop. There. So simple. Sometimes you may need to add a little bit of liquid white. I'm just getting a feel for it. But also I think the paint already had a little bit of liquid white from what we did on top with the trees. A little bit of crimson just to turn it a little orange. Ooh. That little change in color kind of breaks things up, because if you have it all one color, it can feel repetitive. Or I could just, like you'll look at it, yeah. Look, little sparkler right there. Little orange. Boom. There. Mostly yellow, less orange. Ooh, that's like a Indian yellow type color. That's nice. Okay. And shoot. Last thing. Let's go ahead, let's have our challenge for the day. We're going to a little bit of black with that same dirty brush, making sure you have a lot of color, and wiggle the brush through the paint and pull it straight through. You'll get a nice chiseled edge. And let's go ahead and just there. And reload your brush as much as you need to. And let's just go ahead and boop. Some people might feel intimidated by using the 1-inch brush because of its size. Don't really, like, once you learn how to use it, it'll do wonderful stuff for you. Now, of course, if you want to get used to doing more detailed paintings and all that, then lean away from this. But it's kind of hard for me because I'm trying to get myself used to using like brushes, like flat brushes, small filbert brushes, the detail brush, to get more details out of it. But I've got so used to these big brushes, and it's a double-edged sword, because it's good for this, but when you try to move on, it holds you back a bit. Let me load up my yellow onto my brush, and we'll just boop. Sometimes I have to tippy toe a bit just to see I'm hitting the right spot. Okay. Right here, a few little things. There. And just blend it out. Okay. I know I said last thing, but when looking at it, it's missing a few little water lines, just to kind of break things up a bit. Well, with that wraps up today's painting. I really hope you enjoyed this painting. try this painting out. If you do, send me an email. It will be down in the description. I would love to see what you create. I miss the times when a lot of people would send me emails showing me their creation. It just brings me joy seeing I was able to help someone. But rather than that, I like to wish each and every one of you the best of luck, and I'll see you next week for our next video. Till then, take care. Goodbye.